Andrea. More intractable problems in Iraq. General William Caldwell summed up the situation on the ground at a Baghdad briefing this week.
The core conflict in Iraq has transitioned to a struggle mostly between Sunni and Shia extremists seeking to control key areas of Baghdad, create or protect sectarian enclaves, divert economic resources, and impose their political and religious agendas.
Linda Robinson returned earlier this month from a 3-week reporting trip to Iraq. She saw the core conflict, as General Caldwell just put it, close up. Was there any sign of daylight there? Welcome to Washington Week, by the way.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. I have to say, I think that this is, I was struck. It was the most sobering trip I've had there. And I think there's a real sense among the top officials in Iraq that they only have a few months really to get Baghdad under control. I also visited Mosul and Kirkuk and some other cities where they're gradually turning over the cities to Iraqi police and army control. But Baghdad is the key, as they've admitted, and they use the phrase sectarian violence, which you could say it is on the brink of a civil war, as some have, but you have more U.S. troops in the city. I saw the first days of the Baghdad security plan, phase 2, begin. They've swept through about 23,000 homes, door to door, collecting up arms. And I also spent a couple of nights out with the Special Operations Forces, Iraqi and American, going out after these Shia militia leaders and the Sunni insurgent leaders, but they're really targeting the ones they call the death squads that are torturing people, holding them in these Sharia courts. And there are really some amazing cases of brutality that are going on in the city.
Is there any sense of frustration from American troops especially, but Iraqi troops as well, as this begins to at least fail to congeal?
Here's the message I kept hearing from people at various levels, but that you can do security sweeps until the cows come home, but unless you have the political and the economic pieces coming together of this strategy, that you will not have ultimate security.
And that's part of it, isn't it? I mean, that's a big part of this Baghdad plan that seems different, that you have these quick reconstruction projects. How is that going? Are they getting those projects done quickly?
That's right. What they have is a plan for, first, the U.S. will come in with its SERP funds, or the Commander's Emergency Response Funds. This is military-provided funds. They're going to do trash pickup, fix some sewer lines, do some quick fixes, and then they are waiting on the government of Iraq to come in with some of its oil revenue money to the tune of 50 or 200
Even though we've already
million.
put all that money in there before,
and yes,
right?
And that's the other thing, is they have some plan to try in Baghdad to marry up the security operation with this economic aid. But you could also look countrywide. They're also saying there's been a deficit of spending on the economic reconstruction, and that's how you really win people over and get them to give you intelligence and turn in the insurgents and support the government.
But where is the government? Where is the Iraqi government? Where's the political leadership in all of this? Are they carrying their water, or what?
Right.
Yeah, it should be said the president this week had a meeting at the Pentagon where it was reported that he was frustrated with the progress the government was making.
That's right, and there are things that are being said more strongly, off the record, behind closed doors, but there's a real sense of a power vacuum developing there. Prime Minister Maliki came out with his 24-point reconciliation plan when he first came into the government, but they're waiting on real action. And part of it is going to be offering an olive branch to the Sunnis, the Sunni insurgent groups, but also they've got an intense power struggle going on within the Shia groups. And one of the things they were looking to the Prime Minister to do was to come out with a statement saying, the entire government supports going after all armed groups, which is a code for saying the militia of Muqtada al-Sadr, which is very strong in Baghdad, that he is going to have to choose between the armed route and the political route. And that, I think, is going to be the key showdown. Is the Prime Minister willing to force Sadr, who has 5 ministries and 33 government representatives, to definitively choose the political route? They have been, playing football with this guy for 3 years now, and he's grown stronger and stronger, and I think that's really going to be the acid test.
And is it possible that he could end up on top? I mean, I've heard that the Ayatollah Sistani has warned the U.S. that Muqtada al-Sadr and the Mahdi army is really resurgent, and that they may win this whole thing.
Yes, well, I think unless they find, and one of the top officials I talked to said we cannot totally demonize the solder movement because he's already got political legitimacy. He won those seats in an election. We have to do a political deal with him. We all have to offer some space in the military for some of his militia, offer jobs, and so forth to the others. That is going to take an enormous political skill to negotiate, and I don't, the question is who's up to that job.
Against the backdrop of record deaths this in July and record attacks by IEDs against American and Iraqi troops. So it does seem to be getting more complicated, not less. Thank you, Linda.